Thank you for tuning in to this week's Tip of the Week. This week we want to talk about 3 common base mistakes. Number 1, I want to talk about depth of excavation. And this can vary depending on which part of the country you're in as far as your climate. If you got in a freeze-thaw cycle area, you're going to want to make sure you're a little bit deeper. And I highly recommend go to CMHA's website. You can see there what the recommendation is for depth of gravel and base. If you're doing driveways, obviously that's very different too. You got the heavy vehicle, whether it be a car or a truck or even a oil truck, something like that. You got heavy point loading, and then you're going to want different materials for that. So it's important to know what the specs are for your products, the proper dig depth, and again, what your subsoils are. Subsoils, if you're in a hard, gravelly soil, that's going to have tremendous bearing ability to be able to support your loads, whatever it might be. But if you're in a clay condition and it's exposed to water, clay can be very stable, but the second it gets water added to it, it's like a bunch of oblong platelets, and that can shift very easily. That's how you get a lot of rutting and settlement. So it's important to know what your soils are. Obviously, clay soils, you can add large rock to that, say a 2 or 3 inch minus, and that can change the gradation of soils. It can lock that soil up so it has greater bearing ability to support point loading and support different loads. So that's important to look at that and see really what the proper depth would be and the proper material to use. One more thing I want to add as far as base depth, and that is water. Our materials do not like water, so the more you can keep water away from our base, that's a home run. Like I said, clay and water do not mix, but the more you introduce water, it softens your soils, and that's when you can get rutting or failure. Especially in a freeze-thaw area, the more moisture there, the more freeze-thaw you're going to have. So beware of that water. Make sure to get it away from our projects. Number 2, I want to talk about compaction. Compaction is an extremely important part of the process of installing your base. We need compaction. You need to consolidate your soils to at least 95%. And if you're doing, say, a D2940, that's your 3/4 gravel. They call it all different names around the country, but the official spec is the D2940. If you're compact that needs to be compacted to 95% in layers. If you have small compaction equipment, it can be as low as 2 or 3 inch lift. Larger compaction equipment, you can go as 8, 10 inches, even 12 inches. And we've taken a point, we have Bomag rollers, and those can do 12 to 16 inches. So you need to get the proper compaction equipment on a job site. Another thing I want to throw out, you can over compact. And I want to tell you a story, because we used to do a lot of driveways. It was driveways of distinction, and we built driveway after driveway after driveway, and we used to get this rutting in front of the driveway. So we would do even more compaction in front of those areas. What we didn't know, later talking to a soils engineer, we actually were ruining that gravel. We changed the gradation of that gravel because we were breaking the stone. So 1 1/4 inch gravel that we were using was being broken in half. So you're down to 5/8 stone or 3/4 or 3/8 stone, and it changes that gradation. Now it no longer has that bearing ability, and it becomes flexible, and we were getting a lot of rutting. So over compaction can be just as hurtful and painful as under compacting. So these are areas that we want to pay attention to and make sure we get it right. Lastly, at number 3, I want to talk about fabrics and grid. And these are another key aspect in getting the base right. Early on, we never heard of this. So we were always just digging out, you're putting in your gravel. Back then it was stone dust. Our actual manufacturer would recommend 8 inches of stone dust to build your patio on. So things have changed a lot. But as introduced fabrics were introduced into our industry, it became very clear very early on that this was a really, really good product. And it was introduced to me as a product they would use like they'd run a road through a swamp. They'd use this filter fabric, and it would actually, when pulled taut, it would just bridge across all that soft soils that was underneath. And you actually created almost like a concrete beam running through that swamp area. And we looked at it as being very inexpensive insurance for on our job sites. So every single job site that we do still to this day on the hardscape business, we use a filter fabric. There's different soils, different fabrics that can be used. Check with the manufacturers, make sure you're using the right material for your job site and what you're planning to do on that job site. Another thing is the geogrids, being able to put grid in the stabilized soils. This we use on our driveways in front of those garage doors. I was telling you about that, right, with the sagging. This can help stabilize, give you a greater point loading so that you can have greater bearing ability so your driveways don't get that rutting. And I highly recommend using these products. Lastly, for a bonus, I want to give you one more point I want to talk about. And if you look at our industry, the two biggest areas of failure is your base and your edge restraint. And this really is an important aspect. The ultimate edge restraint for our industry would be a big curbing, whether it be granite or concrete curbing, to prevent lateral creep. We've used concrete over the years and doing little bridge beams and whatnot on the edge of our pavers. It breaks up and fails often. I created obviously the hybrid edging that works in open grade system as well as dense grade systems. But your edge has to be installed properly. Because again, you get that lateral creep, you're going to get dirt and debris down in that joint. It's just going to continue over time migrate out. So that's why this is that first or second point of failure on a job site. We need to retain those edges properly, keep our projects consolidated, and prevent that lateral shift. Being in the industry for 40 years, that was one area that drove me wild. I see the plastic edging lifting out of the ground. I see lateral creep everywhere I go and failed job sites. And that's why I did. I spent years and years developing hybrid edge. It's got 4 patents on it, but this is an incredible product, and it's starting to be the go-to for contractors around the country, and they're realizing that it really is the ultimate choice when it comes to edge restraint, whether you're doing dense grade or open grade systems. I've used all those other systems out there, and this is the most effective and most efficient product on the market. Remember, if you can't afford to do it right the first time, how are you ever going to afford to do it right the second time? If you want to watch the 3 tips on wall mistakes, be sure to click here. Make sure to go to our website. You can see all the products and tools there. You can always call the office. We're always love to help contractors solve any of the problems they may have. And be sure to go to YouTube, where we have just about 800 videos now that you can check out and get yourself educated. You can sign up for our tip of the week here.
Or you can watch more of our videos here.
You can subscribe to our YouTube channel here.
And make sure you shop our products at pavetool.com.
If you're located in Canada, you can shop at pavetool.ca.
Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to seeing you next Friday.